So how would I go about starting a collection like this? Honestly, I don't know that I would start this collection, to be fair, because I didn't do it right, I don't think. What's up guys, Jason here, Morph Mixology Reptiles, back for another video. Got my girl Cleopatra here with me. This is my pinstripe ultramel female. I just cannot get over her color. It's such a really cool coffee or a toffee kind of caramely orange. It's just fantastic. I don't know, it doesn't, the camera just doesn't do it justice, it seems like. But anyway, this video I've gotten asked a lot about, and a lot about my opinions on how we got started, how some friends of mine got started, and my thoughts on starting a collection and a breeding operation from scratch. Let me preface everything by saying, at the time of this recording, I guess technically, I am not actually a breeder because we have not produced anything. I'm doing everything in my power, hopefully somewhat correctly, to get to that point. And when this video is being recorded, we're probably 3 months out, maybe, from starting to put pairs together. So I'm fairly confident that by the end of this first season, we will be successful in breeding. But at the moment, we are not breeders. I guess at the moment, I just have a collection, I suppose. Then I'm an aspiring breeder, I guess is the best way to put it. So that prerequisite out of the way, this is purely going to be my opinion on starting, and this is coming from how I've gotten to where we are in such a short amount of time, talking to a bunch of other breeders of varying sizes and statures in the community, so to speak. People that have been in, a couple years all the way up to, decades. So I kind of collected a bit of information, started thinking about how I would do this if I did it differently. Now, knowing what I know now, which admittedly in the reptile hobby is very little, and that's what we're going to talk about. I just want to do a quick little talking head video and kind of just give my my opinion on the matter. Anyway, so I think, first of all, the biggest tip I've ever received, or that I've received so far, from anybody that I've talked to about starting collections and starting breeding: breed what you like. The problem is, especially for me, and I know for a lot of people, once you start getting into this and you start seeing some of the amazing combos, even some of the stuff that's behind me here, it's hard to focus in on one thing that you like. So let me put it to you this way, something that I started realizing. We all, and I can't obviously speak for every breeder ever, but a large percentage of the breeders I've talked to, including some of the biggest names in the game, did exactly the same thing. We've all done the same thing. When you start getting into this, you buy something because it's pretty. You're like, wow, that thing, that genetic stripe is just gorgeous, I'm gonna get it. Oh, that banana is fantastic. Now, to be fair, Kevin the banana was just to get us into ball pythons. That was before we ever had any desire to breed. But you start doing that, and then you look up, a few months later, and you've got a kind of a hodgepodge of projects and no direction. And if you really screwed it up, it's not necessarily screwing it up, but if you've really gone crazy like I did, you might even find yourself in a situation where you have more males than you do females, which obviously does very little good unless you're, for some reason, planning for future projects, but kind of backwards, you know what I mean? With the males taking, on average, about half as long to get to breeding size than the females do, you need to start thinking about that. And that's a mistake that I made. I bought a lot of males because they were cool. And then I realized, well crap, if I'm gonna start breeding, I need females. So I got super lucky that I was able to get a handful of females that were of size or close to size and will be ready for breeding size at this coming season. But I had to get a bunch of females so that they were ready for next year. And so I've got males on the shelf that we're not going to use this year, which is not a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but it obviously is not what I would say is ideal. So my recommendation is focus on what you like, and if you can, focus on stuff that's maybe a little bit more complex if you are trying to hopefully make some kind of a profit at it. If you just want to breed stuff to make your own for your own collection, that is absolutely fine, and I have no issue with that at all. And in fact, we're going to breed stuff that will never be for sale just because I want one in my collection and I can't either afford to go buy one on my own or don't even want to. I'd rather make one. So we're definitely going to do that. So how would I go about starting a collection like this? Honestly, I don't know that I would start this collection, to be fair, because I didn't do it right, I don't think. I don't know that there's I hate to say this because I got lit up about it before, a wrong way. I don't know if there's a wrong way to start a collection, but depending on what you're trying to accomplish, there's probably a better way to do it. So let's say you want to get into the recessive game, which I would probably highly recommend because first of all, they're really cool. There's some amazing recessive stuff out there. But secondly, that's where the value I think is going to be moving forward, is in recessives and multi-recessives. So I look at it this way. You have two options for starting a collection from scratch and wanting to be involved in recessives. You either start with visual recessive females and then later on buy a multi-codom, really nice heterozygous recessive male. So you buy 3 or 4, whatever you can afford, visual pied females, and then a year or so later you buy the pastel yellow belly het pied male, for instance, to put to all those pied females to make regular pieds, yellow belly pieds, pastel pieds, so on and so forth. That's one way to do it. The other way I think you could do it is there's probably better for if you want more in your collection, and more variety is really the important part. And you can always get to where you produce your female visual recessives and hold them back, so you now have visuals to work on instead of hets. But the other option is to get a variety of multi-codom heterozygous recessive females. So you buy yourself a pastel yellow belly het pied girl, and you buy yourself a black pastel pinstripe het pied female, and you buy yourself a whatever, an orange string yellow belly het pied female, and whatever combos that you think you're gonna like. You should be able to get probably a little bit more for your money, either in number of genes, combos, or number of animals themselves, because they're heterozygous. And then when the time comes, buy that really nice, really good quality pied male to run to all of them, which should give you a variety of either visual pieds in the different codoms that you picked, or if nothing else, more really cool codoms that are 100% het pied, or whatever recessive you pick. That's something I think I would really recommend doing, is starting that way. But females are key, in my opinion, and I'm not new. This is not some groundbreaking discovery that I'm coming up with on my own, believe me. I know very little about this. I would probably do it that way. I would start with het females of tons of variety in the codom space. Maybe do one scaleless het female, do a couple of het pied females with some variety, so I wasn't making duplicates. Maybe some scaleless or some het clown females of variety. I really want to make dreamsicles, so I would need het lavenders in there somewhere so that I could bring them back, or put that aside into my multi-recessive combo and maybe buy 1 or 2 double het lavender pied females and 1 or 2 double het axanthic pied females, for instance. Then in a year or so down the line, when I've saved up some more money, I've gotten used to how the snakes operate and keeping them safe and keeping them healthy and raising them up, building some more racks so I'm ahead of the game, so I've got quarantine spaces and grow out tubs and space for the tubs to get bigger and the whole 9 yards, then look at saving up and buying a really nice pied male for your couple of het girls, and a really nice clown male for your couple of het girls, and either another double het dreamsicle male or a double het lightning male, you know, or you saved up a little bit of money and you can afford to buy a pied that's het lavender, you know, something like that. I think that would make more sense. Keep the collection nice and small, be very focused and dedicated on the projects that you really want to be involved with, and have kind of a down the road vision so that when you produce what you want, or something that can help you with what you want, you can hold it back, raise it up, run it back in. So I think that's kind of how I would do it. This blew up way faster than I could have ever expected, but I'm okay with that. I'm excited. I'm really stoked, and I think we're gonna do really well. I think at the end of the day, I needed to make this video to answer some of you and to prove to myself that, in all honesty, I really don't know. I've got a ton to learn. I have learned an immense amount over the last year, believe me, but I have no clue, and I'll be honest with that. And I think one of the best pieces of advice I got from a breeder was, the more you get experienced and the more you learn and the more you develop in this hobby, you need to accept the less you really know. And I talked to some of these guys that have got, you know, 15 plus years in the hobby. They are quote unquote expert professional breeders, and they will tell you that they approach every day as if they know less today than they did yesterday, as opposed to being a internet expert keyboard warrior that, you know, they've been breeding for 2 or 3 or 4 years or even 10 years, but it's their way or the highway, and that's it. I'm trying not to be that. I want to be open and receptive to all the input, all the criticism. I know there's gonna be haters, and honestly, I don't care. That's the nature of the beast. If I choose to put myself out there on this platform or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, that's what comes with the territory. So that I'm not worried about, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and in the interim, trying to teach you guys and share the knowledge that I receive from others, things that have worked and don't, and bring in some of my own ideas, some of my build techniques, you know, whatever the case may be, and hopefully get you guys the confidence to do your own breeding someday. That's the key point here, because really, when it comes down to it, when you look at what you're able to create, it's just amazing. And as long as you enjoy doing it, that's all that matters. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These talking heads I know don't really do a whole lot. I don't have a lot to show you necessarily, but I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. How would you start, or how did you start your collection? If you started it and would do it differently, put it down below. Let me know. What suggestions would you give me or anybody else watching this that might have done it differently? I'd be interested to hear how you guys went about it, or how you would go about it if you could do it again. I really appreciate all your guys' support and comments and encouragement. There's always a couple of haters, but who cares? The overwhelming majority of you guys are super supportive. We are so close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm so thankful and grateful for you guys. I cannot express that enough. That is going to be outstanding. I'm working on figuring out a giveaway of some kind. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, or when, or what really, but I am working on it. Might be something too, when once we start having eggs, we can kind of, you know, do a blind giveaway from a clutch. Say, you know, this egg goes to whatever it is, or we're going to do a giveaway on it. So we'll stay tuned for that kind of stuff. Thanks for all your support, really. And if you have any suggestions for me or anyone else, let's hear it. Thanks guys, I'll see you next week.